Hey guys, Workman Reads here. Today I'm in the van, just getting a quick lunch break in, and I felt like doing my book review for The End, and an apocalyptic novel by Matt Shaw. Now this was a surprise. Sayan Das, my friend, suggested this one as Matt Shaw's best, possibly one of his best written stories. And I'd have to agree right off the top that it seemed as if maybe he was taking a different approach, Matt Shaw that is, was taking a different approach with this novel and decided to kind of take his time and get his prose to a level that I hadn't seen in prior shorter fiction that I had read by him. I'm recently getting into the more extreme horror side of things, and this is definitely not extreme horror. I mean, it has that Matt Shaw flair in it where, you know, he's writing some graphic scenes. There's some trigger warnings for different people dying heavily. So don't go into this expecting to see like rainbows and butterflies. But the plot overall was kind of a 2-star. We've seen it before. It's like a post-nuclear type world where, you know, there's danger around every corner. And your main character, which is told in first-person narrative, has to go through all these obstacles. Danger, could possibly die, you know, different things like that. There's radiation sickness. So we've seen it before. That's probably 2 stars, I'd say. But, you know, it was overall well written and the pacing was proper, which leads me to writing. I'd give that 3 stars. He took his time with this one. I would say I agree that this was, usually it seems maybe because of how many books he puts out, he might do a lot more self-editing and things like that, and his prose isn't, I mean, let's be honest, we're not talking, you know, legendary prose or anything like that, but it's a fun writing, and the way he writes is kind of like no one else. And then horror overall, it wasn't graphic extreme horror all the time. It was more of the setting was the horror side of things. It was like, what if I was in this situation? I'd say the most graphic scene was the opening scene, and that involves a mother and her child, and I'll leave it at that. That was probably the most horrific moment of the story, and yeah, it's more like a tragedy of society and a tragedy of this character's life story than a horror novel. But it's outstanding in that way. So that's going to be 3 stars on horror. Characters, I'd give them 4. They were actually well fleshed out. You care about this dude, and you care if he's going to see his family and his brother again, and you kind of want this guy to succeed. You want him to survive. So I think that Matt Shaw actually did pretty well writing his characters on this one, so I gave him 4 stars. Enjoyment level, I also did like 3.5, 4 stars. I'd say it was a quick read, so it's worth checking out, and it was overall a fun ride, and the pacing was proper. And who doesn't like to read a story where the main character is in England and, the world basically ends over there, but America is okay, and then basically the characters or the people from England had to come to America and basically live in like a camp, and it was almost like a concentration camp. So it was an interesting societal look at how that would go if Europe had problems that the US did not. So it was kind of cool. So overall enjoyment factor, it was a great apocalyptic novel. I did overall 3.5 stars. It wasn't perfect. I rounded it up to 4 on Amazon and Goodreads. And yeah, if you haven't tried Matt Shaw, this might be the best book to start off reading his novels with. So this has been Working Man Reads, doing a quick little vehicle review. Hopefully the sound was proper. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for, I was at 182 today when I checked my subs. So thank you so much. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, I'm going to be reading a lot more horror coming up, but I will sprinkle in some fantasy and sci-fi. Feel free to sub and like and shoot me some comments. I respond to every comment down below, and I'm really having fun with this YouTube thing. Follow me on Instagram, whatever you want. I'm always available to talk. Thank you guys. Peace. Aria, how was breakfast?
Many.
Yummy.
Walking.
Walking, yep.